Hi there, it's Rob Levy. I'm back again with some more information. I've been doing all sorts of digging to pull up information for you because I want to know what everybody wants to know, and that's what are the experts predicting for 2023 housing costs appreciation and also interest rate hikes or decreases. So I've gathered all this info and I want to share a bunch of it with you here. The thing to remember is the last couple of years we've had phenomenal years of appreciation in real estate, and it's varied all over the place in places like Hawaii with up to 50% or Palm Springs and areas like that. But other areas have been relatively flat. But at the end of the day, most of the country saw as much as 20% increases on average. That's not sustainable. We all know that, right? So where are we going for 2023? Well, a lot of it has to do with interest rates, and there's several things going on here. First off, we need to remember a couple of things. The inventory is still quite low. If you look at this chart up here, you'll see that inventory is lower than it normally is. Keep in mind that a balanced market is kind of like 5.5 to 6 months. Different experts agree as to exactly what it is, but 5.5 to 6 months worth of inventory is kind of the standard. And we're nowhere near that. And there's several reasons for it. Number one, builders really haven't been building. So we've got that going on. Number two, a lot of us have purchased new homes in the last 5 or 6 years or refinanced in the last 5 or 6 years. In either case, we've got rates of 2.25, 2.75, 3.25, 3%, really low rates when comparison to today's rates, which a month ago we were seeing rates in the high 6s and even 7%. So it didn't make sense for somebody to put their house on the market and then sell that house, go out and buy another house and get a 7% mortgage when their interest rate right now is, let's say, 2.5%. That doesn't make any sense. So people aren't moving or haven't been moving. Now, depending what happens next year, that might change quite a bit. First off, what I've noticed as a top-selling realtor for over 34 years now in Portland, Oregon, is some of the fundamentals still exist. We just sold a house where somebody passed away. We sold another house where somebody passed away. We sold another house where people were getting divorced. We just got a sale on a property where some people are moving here from Montana. So the basics, death, divorce, corporate relocation, that's always driven about more than 50% of the market. Those are still there. It's just the people upsizing, downsizing, that's kind of gone away for a while. And it's been tough for first-time home buyers, as we all know, to go ahead and qualify for a house. Now, I've got some thoughts on that too that we'll talk about. But let's take a look at what the experts are predicting here. So let's start with mortgage rate projections. And you can see on this chart up here that they've got several companies here talking about it. Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association, and National Association of Realtors. What people are basically saying is mortgage rates should pull back meaningfully next year if inflation comes down. Now, as I record this at the end of 2022, inflation is coming down. It's not coming down as fast as we'd like, and certainly not what we're used to. But the reality is it's coming down, and mortgage rates have eased somewhat, and they'll probably continue to do so. But if we look here, the average of all of these, in quarter one, we're looking at 6.35%. But let's jump ahead to quarter four, 2023, 5.73% interest rates. That's the predictions if the inflation rate still continues to come down. So now let's kind of jump ahead and take a look at the home price forecast for 2023. And this one's kind of all over the map. And take a look at this chart here. And I'm going to put my glasses on for this one. Excuse me here. So basically, we've got different entities looking here. Realtor.com, HPS, National Association of Realtors, Freddie Mac, Mortgage Bankers Association, Fannie Mae, and Zelman and Associates has always been a big predictor. The reality is, the average of all of them is 0.1%. So what does that really mean? It means it's probably going to be flat next year. Now, some, like Realtor.com, are predicting 5.4%, and others, like Zelman, are predicting negative 5.1%. So somebody's probably wrong here. I think a lot of it depends on different pockets of the market. Half the country may experience small price gains, and the other half might see price declines. So let's talk about what I talked about earlier, and I said I'd come back to, and we'll finish with that. A lot of people have said to me, and this is particularly important with millennials buying homes, that, hey Rob, my kids can't buy a house. And here's my thinking. So if the average price in the United States, let's just use a number of $400,000 because it's an even flat number. If you bought a house last fall for $400,000, there's a very good chance you'd be paying, let's say, $475,000, maybe $450,000 to get that house. So let's just say $450,000. You would have paid $50,000 extra in purchase price to get the house in the first place. Also, there's a really good chance the seller is going to say, hey, there's nothing out there. I need to stay here for a couple of months for free until I find a place. So now you've got 2 months worth of mortgage payments going out without you getting to live there. Oh, and by the way, you had a home inspection and it needed a new roof. And the seller said, I got 13 offers. I'm not putting a new roof on this thing. Well, today, arguably, that same $400,000 house could be picked up for $350,000, $375,000. You see, it wasn't always worth what they were asking for. We're going to come back to that. But let's say that you bought that house for $350,000. The reality is that's $100,000 in savings. You probably will get the roof, and you can get the seller out on the day of closing. So you've gained $100,000 in equity in your home. If you take the difference in payments, let's say you were borrowing $300,000 on that, and your payment was X at 2.5% and Y at 5.5%, that delta between the two, and divide that into that $100,000, in most cases where we've been running this scenario, it's around 11 years to catch up. A lot's going to happen in 11 years. A, you're probably going to sell the house, upsize, downsize, whatever the case may be, or move to another community. Or B, you can refinance. The rates will come down at some point. It might be a year, it might be 3 years. But the rates will come down and you can refinance. So I want everybody to keep that in mind. So again, looking at these forecasts for 2023, nobody really knows. My crystal ball broke in 2008, but the reality is the economy is starting to improve. Rates should come down. There is a shortage of inventory. There's still people moving here, and there are not enough homes. When you throw all of that stuff in together, I think things are probably fairly promising for the next several years. And please keep in mind one thing, and this is probably the most important of all. Since the end of World War II, homes on average in the United States of America have appreciated at 4.7% per year. And if you don't own a house right now, your interest rate is 100%. So keep that in mind. Thanks so much for watching these videos. Please subscribe down below. Make any comments that you'd like. Reach out to me if you're looking for a home in Portland, Oregon, or anywhere in the country for that matter. I'm well connected with other top realtors all around the country. Thank you for watching.